This is QTV News. I am Marietu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. First, the headlines. African diaspora returnees have frowned on the land ownership law in the draft constitution, which may prevent non-Gambian citizens from permanent land ownership. Government is looking to construct 400-kilometer roads across the country. The Transport Minister tells us how they expect to generate the funds. The people of URR say security officers deployed in their region are not well equipped. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. And now the news in detail. African diaspora returnees have expressed dissatisfaction over Section 258 in the draft constitution on land ownership. If instituted in the new constitution, non-Gambian citizens can be precluded from land ownership except on short renewable leasehold terms. QTV's Momodo Lamin Choi had a face-to-face interview with them, and he now reports.
Fear, worry and surprise have befallen these non-Gambian citizens, for they could be disqualified from permanently owning land if the entire Section 258 of the new draft constitution is implemented. According to this section, only Gambians can own land permanently, while non-Gambian citizens can only own land on a leasehold basis for 30 years, with a 90 years maximum renewal period. These non-citizens are African diaspora returnees who settle in the country with their families. They emphasize to QTV that Gambia is the land they have chosen to return to and resettle, do business and live for good, adding that, to them, Europe is a foreign land they no longer desire to reside in. Julia Ryan and Shakina Chinedu are African diaspora returnees in the Gambia who fight for the return of their fellow members of the African diaspora. Both feel insecure having read the draft laws on land ownership.
The fear is that when we're not wanted and we'll be dispossessed of our land, dispossessed of our property, it's going to stop inward investment. People aren't going to want to come here, not even on holiday. This is the fear. So it's really going to affect your tourism. If Thomas Cook didn't affect your tourism, this will.
I've been here 15 years. I've bought land. I want to pass that land on to my children. I'm hoping that one day when I'm a grandmother, they will pass it on to their children. But Clause 258 does not allow us to do that. So what does that mean? Does it mean we have to pack up and leave? Or does it mean, we have to make our submissions and we will be heard? Nobody knows, and it's very disheartening right now.
Juliet, Shakina and their families say land ownership is a necessity for them to live, do business and hand over to their children for inheritance. Juliet's son, Adrian Ryan, is happy to have left Europe for the Gambia, where he is pleased to have joined a school.
But Africa is a whole paradise, a real one, and I love Gambia. The schools here are the best.
But now, Juliet, Shakina and their families are uncertain about what the future holds in a country they regard as their ancestral home. These African diaspora returnees are now awaiting the outcome of the final draft constitution. They explain what their plan is if the draft law on land ownership succeeds into implementation.
We're more or less looking at leaving, move to another African country that may welcome us with our investment. Because you don't want to be 30 years down the line after work so hard to build up your fortune, to have the possibility of the chance of losing it is terrible, it's not good.
Lamin Sima, the Gambia's ambassador at large for business and investment, says that draft law on land ownership, if implemented, will affect business, and he hopes that it will be reconsidered for its otherwise likely adverse effect on our economy.
Making it easier for investors is to let them own their own lands, buy them, you understand, as citizens. That is my own personal opinion. Anyway, this will help investors, or it will encourage them to come and invest here.
Apart from land ownership, another of their demands is automatic citizenship, which a law can guarantee for them for a more favorable environment that will also inspire the African diaspora to come and settle in the Gambia. In 2007, Ghana became the first African country to provide the right to return and indefinite stay for Africans in the diaspora. On December 28, 2016, a ceremony for Africans from the diaspora to receive Ghanaian citizenship was held at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center in Accra, Ghana. I'm Lamin Choi for QTV News.
Government is looking to introduce a fuel levy to generate funds for the construction of the 400-kilometer roads across the country. Works and Transport Minister Lamin Job told deputies that the government also intends to get funds from donors and revenue from the Senegambia Bridge for the project. Aliu Cisse has the rest of that story.
Minister Lamin Job informed deputies that the National Roads Authority, in consultation with his ministry, has identified the roads to be constructed and is about to hire a consultant to carry out the feasibility study and detailed road designs.
Funds are being sourced through various initiatives, prominent among which are grants and concessionary loans, for example, from the Indian government, or grants from the NDP pledges, and also from local sources, by increasing, for example, the fuel levy.
He added that the commencement of the work depends on the availability of funds.
And I can only say as soon as we have the funds. And we are pushing for the best scenario, which is at least to start most of them within the coming year. We are looking at increasing the fuel levy. Currently, the current levy is about $1 for every liter, but we are thinking of increasing to $3 without it reflecting on the pump price. And one strategy we think we can do that, or we can use to do that, is to use the proceeds of the bridge.
According to him, negotiations are underway for the expansion of the ports in Banjul, a matter that was addressed separately by the Education Minister.
The government has been soliciting concessionary funding from bilateral friendly countries, notably from China Exim Bank, and to date, the arrangements are underway in terms of technical feasibility and environment impact assessment, EIA studies, in line with the loan application procedures. Government has also applied for funding from the Africa Development Bank, and the process is also being pursued in terms of the ESIA, that is the Environmental Studies Impact Assessment, and project bankability investigations. Further to that, government has, through the PPP unit under the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, constituted a multi-stakeholder task force to assist the ministry committee to engage strategic partners for the port development project.
Minister Job revealed that the Senegambia Bridge has an estimated revenue generation capacity of about $12 million per month. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Cisse.
The people of URR have told the Office of National Security that security officers deployed in the region to protect them are not well equipped to operate effectively. Babukar C reports.
The people of URR raised concerns during the ongoing nationwide sensitization on security sector reforms organized by the Office of the National Security in collaboration with the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, DCAF. Residents feel that they will not be protected if the men and women sent to protect them are not protected. They took turns to share ideas on the security sector reforms and how they want or think the security sector should operate.
There was no rule of law in the past 22 years.
Gambians are good at making rules, but implementation is the problem.
The security officers are from our homes. They are our children, our husbands, and our fathers. So we should respect each other.
The rights of prisoners have been abused. There should be mechanisms to reform prisoners and those who guard them.
The chairman of Basse Area Council for the Danjo, who welcomed the delegation to URR, stressed that over the years, the security had lost public confidence and therefore needs restructuring.
People have lost confidence in the security, in the securities in general, since after the 2016 election. So they are coming up with the reforms. I think it's a very important step. It should not only stop at regional level only. It should go down to the grassroots, because we want people to know, we want people to understand what has transpired before, and we want to build or regain that confidentiality, that confidence that has been lost in the past 22 years.
Others argued that gatherings of this nature should also be conducted for junior security officers to understand the need for security reform to avoid reoccurrence of past human rights violations. The Deputy Commissioner of Immigration in URR, Ensa Jawara, said security officers should be vetted by competent and honest people during the security sector reform process.
It's important, if you are vetting people, at the end of the completion of the vetting, the final recommendation should be the truth, nothing but the truth. And that will establish the fairness. So people who will be doing this vetting, they should be very impartial and they should be credible people. The people they are going to vet, or the general public, must have strong confidence in them for them to be qualified to do the vetting exercise. And I'm also appealing to the SSR. After the vetting also, there should be another oversight function who will also be monitoring the vetting team, whether they are doing things in line with the SSR regulations.
The delegation will now move to Lower River region for further consultations with residents on the security sector reform process. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we find out which authority is behind the proposed relocation of Muslim High School and the initiative to launch drug-free clubs at schools to raise awareness about illegal drugs. Join us after the break for these stories and more.
It's the annual end-of-year QCity Gala Dinner. We did it before and it was outstanding. We are going to do it again this year and it will be even better.
Come and have a glorious time at the 2019 end-of-year QCity Gala Dinner and enjoy a classic intimate family setting as you listen to the delight and the best performances Gambian artists have to offer.
And the best of all, there'll be a grand fireworks display to celebrate the end of a fantastic year and the beginning of a promising new year.
Tickets are $3,000 per individual, $1,500 for children 12 and under. You can get a 15% discount for every table of 10 you buy.
It will be another great night at Q City as we enter the new year in style.
For more information, call 33-72-489 or 33-00056.
Welcome back. You're still watching QTV News. Plans are underway to relocate the Muslim Senior Secondary School in Banjul to an unknown new site. This revelation was made by the Basic and Secondary Education Minister, Claudiana Cole, before lawmakers on Wednesday. Aliu Cisse reports.
Basic and Secondary Education Minister Claudiana Cole, making her second appearances in less than 6 months, informed deputies that the Gambia Post Authority has expressed interest in taking over the school space.
The ministry has received a request from the Gambia Ports Authority regarding the takeover of the school space and relocating them to a new site. The ministry did not object to this proposal, but advised the Gambia Ports Authority to take up the matter with the Banjul Muslim elders, and any decision reached to be communicated back to the ministry. We are yet to hear from the GPA.
In response to a query about whether the school's administration was aware of this plan, Minister Cole replied that she believed they were.
They have been informed because some time ago they made a report to my office or to my ministry about certain sanitary problems that they had at the school. And this was communicated to them that at the moment we want to wait to hear from the JPA and the Banjul Muslim elders so that we know exactly where we're going and what will be expected of us to do.
Despite the relocation plans, she said her ministry had embarked on minimal maintenance work at the school until they are certain of what will happen.
What we are avoiding at this moment is to do any capital investment in that school by way of maintenance so that we don't waste funds. But nonetheless, to address the pressing situation at that moment, we embarked on some minimal refurbishment or maintenance until we know exactly what's going to happen.
At the time of her appearance, Minister Cole said her ministry had not gone into any takeover legality issue, rather that they were discussing the matter with the GPA and the parties concerned.
This does not only affect Muslim Senior Secondary School, there are two other lower basic schools around the area, and that is Wesley Lower Basic School and the St. Mary's Lower Basic School. We were informed by parts that they want to take over the area to expand the ports.
Founded in 1975 as the Muslim High School, Muslim Senior Secondary School is one of the most populous public schools in the country, and its alumni include the Gambia's current president Adama Barrow, Lamin Kababaja, president of the Gambia Football Federation, Sheikh Umar Faye, former Gambian ambassador to the United States and current defense minister. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
A cleaning exercise to protect the environment was recently conducted at Bakau Beach by Alchemy Limited, a communication company. Ajibintu Drame attended the cleaning exercise and she now reports.
Alchemy Limited is a communication company which also provides humanitarian services, especially to the Department of Fisheries, specifically in alerting fishermen on dangerous sea forecasts. Esongan Job of Bakau's Fire Service Rescue Services thanked Alchemy for the initiative and went on to say it is everyone's responsibility to keep the beaches clean.
We are going to keep it as a daily routine now. So as a fire officer also, I think it's our duty to keep the environment clean. Yes, because if we keep the environment clean, then we are keeping the population healthy. Yes, so on that note, I thank Kim and the president of the Beach Association, Mr. Alusen.
Kim Bula, founder of Alchemy, explains the thinking behind the beach cleaning and how they reach out to get community involvement.
Is working very hard with community to, say for instance, send SMS messages to the fishermen to let them know whether we have got seas that might kill them. We're now working on the beachfront to make sure that our seas are cleaner, and that is going to help us as a people, and we're going to keep it up.
Kim further says that people should protect the sea to help combat global warming.
Drop your rubbish. KMC have given us bins. Please, please put your rubbish in a bin. Help us. But we have got a terrible problem with global warming. Our sea contributes enormously to preventing that. If we kill our sea life, we are in effect killing ourselves.
Sanasar, Bakau Beach Fishermen's Association, also has this to say.
It's a good initiative and I'm very happy. A lot of people come to the beach so it should be clean and maintained.
With 7 billion tons of debris entering the world's oceans annually and most of it is plastic, sea pollution has the potential to harm humans, birds and marine life. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
A drug-free club has been launched at Abuko Lower Basic School by the Drug Law Enforcement Agency in partnership with the Gambia Red Cross Society. The initiative aims to raise awareness among young people about illegal drugs and their damaging effects. Aisha Jan reports.
Abuko Lower Basic School is the first school to launch the drug-free club. The strategy is to use peer-to-peer sensitization to make greater impact in the fight for a drug-free zone in schools. The Senior Drug Demand Reduction Officer with the Law Drug Enforcement Agency, Dauda Sanyang, says substance abuse is becoming a threat in the Gambia, most especially among the youth. He adds that the situation is alarming and that there is no rehabilitation center for drug addicts in the country.
We do not have any rehab center in the Gambia here where those that are affected with drugs can be taken to that rehabilitation center and goes under treatment. The only place that we have here is Tanka, which is not a rehab center. It's a psychiatric hospital in the Gambia here. Rick, if you go to today, you're going to feel very bad because I can say 80% of the youth that are admitted at Tanka is because of drug-induced psychosis.
The leader of Abuko Home Red Cross Link, Sheikh Mane, says according to a World Health Organization report, mental illness is on the rise in the Gambia.
Of recent, this past Friday, a report was given about the number of people that are affected with mental disorders in this country. It stated by the Mental Health Information Officer that 27,000 people are with severe mental disorder in this country. Furthermore, 91,000 people are with moderate mild mental disorder in this country. Is that not a concern?
The Secretary of Abuko Ward Development, Lamindao, says the initiative can help make Abuko a drug-free zone. He shares a word of advice with the students.
We know how the abuse of drugs starts. Sometimes we see our friends start smoking papers. From papers, it grows to cigarette to marijuana or other types of drug. It's time now so that we can be vigilant and then observe our friends. The moment you see them smoking these papers, let's start to discuss with them. The moment you use drug, you are out of your inner consciousness. The moment you use drug, you cannot fit in the society. The moment you use drug, you are affecting nature.
The club will sensitize young people across schools on the harmful effect of drugs. Students will also be advised not to use drugs as a source of income or as a stress reliever and the consequences they face if caught with drugs. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jan.
Before we end this bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. African diaspora returnees have frowned on the land ownership law in the draft constitution, which may prevent non-Gambian citizens from permanent land ownership. Government is looking to construct 400-kilometer roads across the country. The Transport Minister tells us how they expect to generate the funds. The people of URR say security officers deployed in their region are not well equipped. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.